Hey guys, I'm a Forester here. This time of year I like to do a video of the top 10 folders out of my knife collection. Now I do it in January so I can include all the knives that I purchased the preceding year. These knives you could view as the top 10 knives out of my collection that I would keep if I could only keep 10. If I could only keep one, it would be the number one knife right here. And I'll go over them in detail, or not detail, but I'll at least tell you what they are and give you a little bit of my rationale. But I rank them on a number of factors. Some you can quantify, like price, maybe materials, whether it's a multifunctional knife or just a single purpose knife. But there's also a factor of just how much I like the knife. It doesn't have anything to do with price or function or whatever, but how much I like it, how attached I am to it. So that's also weighs in there. But I really simplified in my mind to, if I could keep one knife, which one of these two knives would I keep? So that's how I look at it. It gives me a great opportunity to just review my collection. Now what you're looking at here is the collection from 1 year ago. These are the 10 knives in the same order that I listed them 1 year ago, January of 2016. Now the rank is going to change a little bit this year because I have a different feel for these knives after another year of use. It's not going to change a lot, but basically what's going to happen is these two knives are going to change place. This ZT 0801 I do like, but it's dropping down in ranking a little bit, and the Menundi is coming up in ranking a little. Basically, if I had to get rid of a knife first, I'd get rid of this one before these two right here, and I came to that conclusion. There's another switcheroo that's going to happen, and it's these two knives, because basically this Strider, it started out, I don't know how high it got, but over the years that I've had it, it keeps dropping in ranking. So it's going to move down to the number 10 slot for right now. So that's how this list is going to change just in priority from a year ago. But hold on a second, don't leave just yet, because I have these knives. These are new knives up here. These are knives that I purchased this past year. And just to go over them in detail, in a little bit of detail, these two are fairly traditional pocket knives. They're not going to break into the top 10 list. And I do want to say, when I purchase knives throughout the year, I think about whether they'll be a top 10 knife or not. I don't always know until I carry them, but these two are not going to break into the top 10. This one is a Laguiole. I hope I'm saying that right. And I've gotten attached to it because I'm onto a hobby of trying to cook the perfect steak, and that has become my steak knife. I'll give you a closer view of it. This has become my steak knife. So I've been using this knife a whole lot, and I've really gotten fairly attached to it. I bought a couple of Gonzo knives. This is one. I've sold one. This is the only one I have left. And this is a Sage. It's the Sage 5, and it completes out my Sage collection. This is a knife, Lowen Messer, that came from Jim. This is one, a Fantoni Dweller, that I've reviewed just recently. And then this is a knife that's not new. I'll give you a quick look at it, but this isn't new. But you saw a review of this just recently. This is a Spyderco Tenacious, but I just modded it, did it myself, put new walnut scales, rounded the spine, and did some other work. And so I'm going to consider that a new knife for the purpose of this video. Now let me go back to my collection and tell you what these knives are pretty quickly. And then we're going to see if any of the new knives are going to break into the top 10 list. This is the Hinderer XM24. This is probably the biggest knife that I have. The Sebenza large, well, the large Sebenza, Chris Reeve. This is the ZT 561. This is the Klotzli Walker 05, the Chris Reeve Menundi, the, let's see, what is this one? The Benchmade 740, I couldn't think of the number. This is the ZT 0801, and I had this video was delayed because I lost this knife. I found it in a couch cushion, and then went ahead and decided to make the video. This is the Emerson Gentleman Jim. This is a single purpose knife, but it does that purpose very well. That's why it's on the list. This is the Chris Reeve Small Sabenza, and now number 10 is the Strider. So those are the top 10. Now I'm going to cut to the chase, as we say, and give you the knives that just stand a chance of making it into the top 10. One is the Laguiole. One is the Sage, Spyderco Sage 5. One is this Fantoni Dweller. It stands a chance of breaking into the top 10. And the other one you might guess is this Spyderco Tenacious Modded Out. So those four do stand a chance of breaking into the top 10. Let me talk about this one just for a second. This is the Sage, Spyderco Sage 5. It has that compression lock. I have the whole series. I have actually, I think, 6 Sages. There's 6 in the series because there were 2 of one of the lock mechanisms. So you don't see, they used to be in the top 5. You don't see any of the Sages in this top 10, I mean. And so this one's not going to break in to the top 10 either. I would rather keep the number 10 knife than include it in the Sage in the series. Okay, the next one, and this is getting a little bit tougher, but the Fantoni, would it break into the top 10? Well, it definitely wouldn't go above the Menundi, I know that. It wouldn't go above the Small Sabenza. So the question is, would it take the place of the Strider? And the answer again is no. I would rather keep the Strider for a number of reasons. Even though I like that Fantoni, the Strider has more capability. So then the next one is my steak knife, the Laguiole, with some beautiful file work on the back. I really like this, and like I say, I'm probably using this knife more now than any other knife in my collection. And to be honest, I'm cooking some pretty good steaks right now, and we're having steak probably every other night. And so I'm going to say, because of my attachment to this knife and because the Strider has been dropping throughout the years, I'm going to take the Strider off and let this Laguiole replace it as the number 10 knife. But there's one knife left, and this really creates a dilemma because this is a budget knife. I know what I paid for this knife. I think it was $27. I got it on sale. I've had it probably 5, 6, 7 years. It was one of the very first knives that I got when I started collecting. But I put so much sweat equity into this knife and modding it out that I would keep it. It would definitely be in the top 10. It wouldn't be above these knives right here, mainly because of expense, and you know, I can always do this again. But the question is, would it replace the Small Sabenza? And no, I don't think it would. Would it replace the Laguiole? Well, I think it would. I would not want to lose this knife right here. So I think it would make it to the top 10. So here you have my new top 10 list for 2017. The same knives as were on the last list with one exception, the Spyderco Tenacious Modded Out. There's the top 10. The number 1 knife, if I could only keep one, would be the Hinderer XM24. Y'all take care.